Hey guys, Urban Combat Survivor here. I want to make a video that is kind of responding to multiple comments, multiple messages that I've gotten. And the reason I'm going to make this video is I have a thought process that I go through for just about everything. I have a kind of an internal set of criteria that I put things through in order for them to make sense to me. And I'm the kind of person that things need to make sense on multiple levels. It can't just make sense in one instance for me to really hop on board. So I'm going to start this talking about how I justified to myself that we had crossed the line into possibility and that it was time for me to start prepping. Then how I went about the process of deciding how and what to prep. And this is helpful, I think, to those of you that would like to talk to other people about this, because one of the things that was important to me is that it doesn't sound crazy to me. I'm a pretty skeptical person, and if it sounded crazy to myself, I wouldn't have done it. But it doesn't sound crazy to me, and so I then took the next step onto how should I prepare. Everything for me has to make sense on multiple levels. I already said that. And that is, prepping for when and if anything collapses is one of those things. It's no different than anything else. So one of the things I did was I decided if I'm going to prep, I'm going to do things primarily that largely do not have an effect on the way I live my life otherwise. Now, I know that may sound kind of limp-wristed to some of you guys, that, I'm not all the way in. But I try to come at things from a logical approach at all times. So here's what I did in my head. I decided, okay, if I put food away, is this something that's going to alter anything in my life? And now, I have altered things in my life for this, yes. But understand the thinking process here. If I put food away, if I go spend that money now, and I put food away, in a year, in 2 years, if nothing happens, have I lost anything? And the answer is no. No, I haven't. Because I'm going to still eat. If things don't collapse, I'm still going to eat. It's not like we're only going to need food if things go sour. So if it looks like things are getting better and I no longer have that feeling that I need to be worried about this, I can simply rotate that food into my normal eating and eat it over the course of time. And I have lost absolutely nothing. So when you're talking to people and talking about prepping, that might be a good talking point for you to help present it in a way that you don't sound like one of these survivalist, extreme survivalist guys out there. You know what I'm talking about. So you're going to eat the food anyway. So you've lost nothing. You didn't lose a single penny of your investment. Eventually, you're going to eat that food either way. I applied this similar logic to my choice of primary weapon. What I did was I purchased a used shotgun. I picked up a Remington 870 shotgun. Now, there's a lot of reasons. I always try to have multiple reasons for everything I do. Now, I was leaning towards an AK because I'd seen so many videos out there saying how you needed an AK. But I applied some of my own critical thinking to the situation, and here's what I came back with. 1, if I picked up a good condition used shotgun, it has the same criteria as that food. It's not lost money, it's like money in a jar. Because I can then sell that shotgun. There's the price that I paid for my shotgun, I got it for a decent price, and it's in good shape. That means that if at any time I feel I no longer need that shotgun, I could sell it. I'm not gonna, but I could. Another reason that I chose a shotgun is versatility of ammunition. I'm no expert, so I'm not going to dive all into all of the ballistics and tactical information available. There's millions of people making videos about that. But I did very much find the versatility appealing. I also found that if you put a $30 or $40 scope on that shotgun, you can get effective, consistent 2-inch groupings at 100 yards. And for a populated area, I felt that was certainly sufficient range for anything I may need. If I'm in a horrible situation where I'm stuck in a room and there's a couple guys in a hallway, and I switch over to double-aught buck, I can clear a hallway with one shot. So it's a very versatile weapon. It's a weapon that I can resell. And here's another reason that I chose a shotgun. At least where I come from, Philadelphia, most firing ranges inside the city do not allow you to fire rifles. They do, however, allow you to fire shotguns. So you can fire sidearms and you can fire shotguns in these places. Now, I know there are some that allow rifle practice, but there aren't as many. And I felt that being able to practice with my primary weapon was of paramount importance. If you have a beautiful rifle that has an accuracy out to 600 yards, it's worthless if you haven't had a chance to practice with it, particularly at those ranges. I mean, even if you do have a rifle range, what does it have? 30, 40-yard range on it? So you're practicing at that range, you might think you're the bee's knees, and you can shoot the eyebrow off a caterpillar. Well, that's great at 40 yards. You have this weapon, you start trying to shoot at 500 yards or 300 or 400 yards, and you find you don't have the accuracy because you haven't practiced it. So for practical purposes, I thought, if I can practice with my shotgun much more easily and more frequently than I can with a rifle, a shotgun makes a lot more sense to me. There's also a tie-in with other things on this as well. For instance, I linked in my favorites a video where Yankee Prepper talks about using pool shock to be able to make 120,000+ gallons of drinkable water with a $10 investment. Now, for me, that $10 investment, look, times are tough right now, so a lot of people can't go spend a bunch of money, but $10 you can get up. And another thing is, that makes sense on a second level because, one, you make bleach with it. Bleach is a great disinfectant. And if you've ever watched any of the videos made by a great gal, the Patriot Nurse, she does some videos on who's going to die first if the shit hits the fan, and the logical waves of people that are going to die. And one of the problems is going to be sanitation. Bleach is a great disinfectant. Not perfect. There are some great industrial ones out there that are far better, but bleach is very, very good. So that water for purification, the halfway step in that purification process, you have bleach. I also believe that bleach is going to be, because of its disinfectant properties, is going to be a great item for barter. People are going to need disinfectants. People are going to need bleach. And now for $10, you get a box of this. You can make 128,000 gallons. I threw in an extra $10 to get a second box. I actually have it sitting off to the side here. I haven't gone and bought them yet, but that's happening this week. So I'll be able to make over 250,000 gallons of bleach of drinkable water. So if I take half of that and use that for bleach barter, it makes sense on another level for me. It also makes sense for personal use. You're gonna use bleach for other things in your own survival. So if you're following my thinking process here, I try to make decisions that make sense on multiple levels. This is useful if you're going to talk to some friends. You sit down with your buddy Fred and you say to Fred, look, I think something's coming. Are you getting ready? That kind of thing. How are you going to break this? Well, I've found that people are very responsive to the logic of Well, look, you're going to buy food anyway, right? You're going to eat food anyway. So you're not losing anything. You're going to eat that food. If you buy a used shotgun or a used rifle, you're going to be able to get that money out of it later. You haven't wasted a dime. And that's very important on another level because, look, the economy right now is horrible. The economy is really bad. So, there's a lot of videos out here telling you that you want to go buy this and you want to buy this tactical gear and this and that and that and that and this. Well, yeah, if you've got, $2,500 or more to go drop on all this gear, that's great. But I don't think most people have that. I don't think most people have the discretionary funds to just go drop on this kind of stuff. My shotgun and all of the food and all of the preparation I've done so far is tipped above $500, but not much. And it's all things that I would have spent money on anyway, save the gun. And the gun can be sold. So, the bleach product, the water shock, I wouldn't have bought that. But, it's $20 that I haven't spent yet, but it'll be done this week. It's $20. So, if I've lost anything, I've lost a $20 bill. Another thing I considered when getting my shotgun is this. Have rifles ever been banned in this country in any capacity? And the answer is yes. Yes, they have. The Brady bill did a lot to ban a lot of rifles, and a lot of local governments have tried to do things to ban rifles. Ultimately, these things get thrown out by the Supreme Court, but it takes years. But a shotgun has never been banned to my knowledge. So I thought it was a good choice there as well. Not only is it versatile, it's less likely. Look, the government's going to know just as much as everybody else knows. The government's going to know when it's about to dump. You don't think they're going to try to make laws to keep themselves in a greater position of power? Yes, they are. So, shotguns, much less likely to be banned. So, try to make things make sense on multiple levels. Then you have multiple reasons. If you're talking to anybody about this stuff, it makes sense to you. That's the important thing. If it makes sense to you, that's another thing. A lot of these guys out here talking about going and buying an AK-47. Not only are you going to have a tough time finding a place to practice with this if you're in a populated area, but are you comfortable with it? And I think that is way more important than the ballistics on the weapon that you choose. Is your comfort level with the weapon that you've chosen. If you're uncomfortable with that AK-47, if you're uncomfortable with that 308, then you're not going to be proficient in it because you're not going to practice with it. You're probably uncomfortable because you couldn't practice with it because it was so inconvenient to find a place where you could go fire this thing. Shotgun, you can go to just about any pistol range and they'll let you practice with a shotgun. So, I may have rambled a little bit. I hope this video made some sense. Timbo749, thanks for the message. Thanks for, prompting me to finally put this video together. And if there's any questions, I might have to go back and redo this or add another video behind it to explain some of this stuff. But every single thing that I've done, I've thought about from multiple perspectives, and I tried to make sense on multiple levels for multiple uses. So I hope that resonates with some of you people out there, and I hope that you start thinking on more than just one use for any individual item. Urban Combat Survivor, signing off.